Okay, 2.8, proving angles congruent. Objective, students will be able to identify angle pairs and to prove and apply theorems about angles by completing problems as taught. Okay, so a couple things we got to learn about. We got to learn about a bunch of different types of angles. Okay, first set is what we call vertical angles. So vertical angles, these are two angles whose sides are opposite rays. And that's the official definition, but really what a vertical angle is when I have two lines that intersect, any two lines that intersect, the angles that are created on opposite sides, we call those vertical angles. So example 3 here says 1 and 3 are vertical angles. And then, so could you tell me which angle is vertical to 2? Well, it's the one right opposite of it, so it would be angle 4. So that's a vertical angle. We're going to use those a lot in geometry. You'll see those a bunch. So just remember that. Call them vertical. I mean, I guess an easy way to remember that is like you could kind of see that 1 and 3, they are vertical. They're on top of each other. It's another way of thinking about vertical. But I guess that kind of breaks down if you're going side to side because 2 and 4 are also vertical. So yeah, it's the ones that are directly across from two intersecting lines, these two angles right there. Alright, the next term is adjacent angles. These are two coplanar angles that share a side and a vertex. So notice here, angles 1 and 2, they share this ray here, and they share this vertex down here. And this is also important, with no common interior points, because we could draw an angle like this, right? So let's make that one my blue angle, and then I could draw another one that is green. Right, so I could draw another angle like this that's green, and they would have common interior points. Let's like shade in those common interior points here. It would look like that. So that would be those common interior points, and these two angles, they share a vertex, and in a way they share a side here, right? Because they're both touching these sides. So that's not really adjacent. It's actually not adjacent at all, because in order for it to be adjacent, they need to be sharing a single side like this, and one angle be on one side and one angle be on the other. That's what we mean by no common interior points. So that's what an adjacent angle is. So the example says, hey, 1 and 2, they are adjacent angles. Can we name two other adjacent angles? Well, 3 and 4, they are adjacent as well. So we could say, oh, let me get out of yellow. So we could say, hey, angle 3 and angle 4. Those are adjacent angles. Okay, so we got vertical angles and adjacent angles. And got a couple more that we want to learn here. Next one is complementary. Okay, this is another term that we're going to learn a lot. Complementary. The way that I remember complementary is complementary starts with a C, and so does the word corners. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Because complementary angles, these are two angles whose measures add to be 90 degrees. So 1 and 2 here. When we combine these two angles, we can see by the little square right here that they're going to add up to be an exactly 90-degree angle, or a right angle. So that's what I mean by complementary angles make corners. That's a little trick to remembering that one. Similarly, on the next page here, you'll see we have the word supplementary angles. And a trick to remembering the word supplementary is, again, supplementary ends with S, and so does the word straight, because supplementary angles are two angles whose measures add up to be 180 degrees, and so they create a straight line. So angles 1 and 2 here add up to be a straight line. Okay? Straight line. Alright, so here's some practice problems for you. I want you guys to see if you can do all these. We got vertical angles, adjacent angles, complementary angles, and supplementary angles, and I want you to use the diagram to identify pairs of these angles. See if you can find some in there. I'd say go ahead and pause the video and then unpause it when you're ready to check your answer. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, well, let's work through this. So first of all, let's find some vertical angles. Well, the only one that I see here with two lines that go straight through is angles 1 and 4 by these two lines. So we could say that angles 1 and 4 are vertical angles, so angle 1 and angle 4. Next, for adjacent angles, well, we got lots, because these are basically any two angles that are right next to each other. So we got 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, or 5 and 1. So if you said any of those, that would have been fine. Now let's talk about complementary angles. Well, complementary angles, these are angles that add up to be 90. So I see right here that 3 and 4, if I was to add those degrees up, they should definitely be 90, because this angle is 90, and this is a straight line, so this angle over here should be 90 as well. So I would say complementary angles 3 and angles 4. Now, this is something that's a little bit ahead, but some of you guys might be saying, hey, well, if I was to take angle 1 and add it to angle 3, that would give me 90. And you would be correct, because we're going to find out later that this angle 1 is actually congruent to angle 4. So if we were to add up 1 and angle 3, that would give us 90 degrees as well. And so you could say angle 3 and angle 1 are complementary. They don't necessarily need to be next to each other, just like 1 and 3 aren't next to each other, to be complementary. They just need to add up to 90. And the next one, supplementary angles. So we need supplementary angles. These are ones that add up to a straight line or 180 degrees. And so there's a few here that I can see. So our first supplementary angle set, I would say, would be angle 1 and angle 5. And then angle 4 and angle 5. And then technically we could say that these three angles together are supplementary. So if you wanted to say, hey, angles 1, angles 2, and angles 3, those are supplementary. And also angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. Yeah, together they are supplementary. Usually we're going to use these terms complementary and supplementary referring to just pairs of angles, but it's possible to involve three angles if they all add up to 180, or they all add up to 180, or we can use that term. Basically, those words just mean, hey, complementary angles, they add up to 90, or supplementary, they add up to 180. So there could be more than two, but usually that's not the case. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about some of those theorems now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save this for the next video. So let's just stop here. We'll call this 2.8a, and then we'll make 2.8b another video. So there you go.